Hello folks, 15 January 2026. There have been a lot of recent comments in WhatsApp groups and people making claims that they've been denied refugee status to come to America, and it's a bit concerning. Not because people will be denied. There are plenty of people who will be denied refugee status. If you're not an Afrikaner or a racial minority in South Africa, you don't qualify. If you're not a South African citizen living in South Africa, you don't qualify. If you haven't suffered from unjust racial persecution in the past, you don't qualify unless you have legitimate fear of future racial persecution. So therefore, there will be people who do not qualify and will be denied refugee status. It's just a matter of normalcy. In addition, there are people who are convicted felons, people who have committed murder, rape, arson, robbery, have DUIs, showing a pattern of poor behavior. You will be disapproved. We don't let criminals in our country. Well, Biden did, but a real government doesn't allow that. So denials are not unusual for the refugee program. It's just a matter of course. However, there have been several of these complaints. They're populating these toxic WhatsApp groups and Facebook and amongst some content creators that are looking to make a name for themselves, spreading this stuff around. So my commentary on this thus far has been, I have not seen a single letter indicating a denial. The only thing I'm aware of anybody been denied is the two fraudsters who were caught trying to get into the program as they went to the processing center months ago. And there was already a case against them by the FBI, and they were known, they were identified, and they were told footseq. So they never got to even get into the program. You know, the guys who promised to get you on a list for money, those guys. Anyway, this is a bit concerning because people making allegations, spreading rumors around, and living off rumors is not a healthy way. So I like to investigate things. So I've reached out to the U.S. government several times, and I've got a response back from the U.S. government. There will be denials, but as of the 15th of January, the U.S. government today told me that there have been no denials to South African refugee cases. None. So as I said, unless you have a letter, we have people calling or telling us that they're getting phone calls and they've been denied. People telling us that their case has gone nowhere, that it's back in investigation. I told you stop paying attention to the portal. The portal is toxic. It's not meant for you refugee applicants. It should only be internal because things will be open, they'll be closed, they'll be reopened, they'll be reclosed. Every time an action happens, there can be 5 or 6 different reactions, and therefore you may have to reopen a case and investigate this. And then you run that down, then this, and you close it again. Then something comes in that you requested weeks ago, and suddenly you have to go to a different venue. People have problems with their chest x-rays. Their medical gets reopened. The list goes on and on. Information you gave appears to be incorrect. Therefore, they have to reopen another venue. Stop obsessing about a portal. It's not healthy. Also, if you've genuinely been denied, you should have received a letter because there's a process that's allowed. You get a chance to request reconsideration. RFR, request for reconsideration. But in order to do that, you must have the basis and you must state what the reason was that you were denied in the first place. You cannot do that unless you have received a letter, not a phone call, a letter stating the reasons why you were denied. Therefore, I've not put much credence in these denials, even though there have been several of them lately. Either people don't understand, they're not listening, or there are people intentionally trying to undermine this program. Whatever the case is, the U.S. government today, the 15th of January, has confirmed to me that to date, not a single person who's applied for the program who's eligible. Don't say you were denied because you weren't eligible. I'm a Zulu. Well, Zulus aren't eligible. Sorry. Unless you're a victim of racial persecution and you're married to someone who is a legitimate, genuine, qualified applicant. So if you're not eligible, you weren't denied. You're just never eligible for it. To date, according to the U.S. government, nearly 1 year after the program was established, and of course the pilot project or the proof of concept went for several months, 1 year later, not a single person has been denied according to the U.S. government. So I don't know what to tell you about what people are claiming. What I can tell you is the official position of the U.S. government. The official position of the U.S. government based on what sources of the government told me today, the 15th of January. So that's what I know. And again, not a single person who's either contacted me or has reached out to me through one of these groups or sent me an email can offer anything about why they claim they're denied. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying they've offered nothing to me. I need to see a letter that confirms it with a case number, the reason, the contact USCIS. Unless I see that, this is just fantasy from my perspective. So, there's lots of people running around spreading all kinds of nonsense on YouTube right now and on social media. And my job is to sort through the facts and tell you what's going on. Again, there you have it. Today, 15 January 2026. Did I say 25 earlier? I might have said 25. I finally got caught up in the 25 nonsense. 2026, 15 January 2026. There is no person who has been denied refugee status who is eligible from South Africa. Cheers.